Welcome everyone into the Great Wide Opens. I'm sure Pat had a nice intro lined up there, but he kind of dropped the ball. He was all nervous about this show, handing the reins to Brad Leuthner and myself. We still got the Ginger Ninja, behind the keyboard, making sure everything works well. But Pat was gonna hop on and say hi to everyone, but we're gonna roll on without him, eh, Brad?
We are. Hello, Bass Galaxy. It's great to be back and looking forward to a great show tonight.
But I'm impressed with your backdrop. Usually you're like podcasting from a upright phone in a car or a bar parking lot or wherever else you've come at us live, but you got it set up. It looks a little familiar back there.
Yeah, I'm rooming with a good buddy of mine, and he has this nice studio, so I'm taking advantage of it. And it's a big show tonight. It has to be everything perfect.
Yeah, which is why I'm sure Pat's real thrilled that his live feed isn't coming through.
Oh, he'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's probably punching holes in his drywall right now.
He could be going to Wendy's to get a Frosty peppermint twist.
Yeah, he ain't scared of those things. Well, we'll probably just keep rocking, without him. We're gonna bring on Ben Milliken right away here. I don't know if everyone's been following along with Straycast and have caught Brad's segment on Into the Great Wide Opens, but we're kind of pulling the curtains back on this thing a little bit. The Opens is getting a lot of attention lately. Obviously, some big names coming through, and it's kind of getting the reputation of the Gauntlet and kind of the Grinder series. So there's lots of good stories, and there's lots of folks in these things that you may or may not have heard of. And Brad and I are doing all nine, and we're gonna delve in, eh, boss?
Yeah, it's gonna be a great opportunity. This show, what I love about it is, you do good in an open, and you're probably gonna get a call from one of us to get some recognition and get your name out there. And not only if you're a big name, it doesn't matter what your name is. And we're gonna dig into every little grimy detail of travel, what's going on the opens, and just have fun with it too. Tell stories. I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of stories. We're traveling together, and I already got a couple from you last year already, so should be good.
Yeah, bud, it's gonna be good. Brad and I are not total rooks to the bass game, so we know what to watch for, what we like about it, and we're old enough. We got some gray whiskers, and
Lots of grays
too. It's not going to be your standard podcast where someone comes on and we ask them what their favorite color spinner bait is or anything like that. So
no, we're gonna stay so far away from that. It's crazy. It's all about the story here. Funny stories, great stories. I mean, people helping out guys and just keeping it real here.
Yeah, bud. Well, we'll give Pat a minute to get his gear together.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you what happened today?
No, I gotta hear this.
Okay, so me, my buddy Fighter, the Craw Man, and Kyle, we go out crow hunting, and it's like -8, right? I mean, it's so cold. I just heard from Seth a little while ago. He got a little bit of frostbite on. So chasing crows is so cold.
Crows like
We
rabies?
got some. Yeah, we got some crows though, so it was all good.
Yeah. That's a pretty greasy critter to be hunting, isn't it? Like it's not like a nice greenhead mallard. Like that's a dirty old diaper eater coming down in the do you decoy them, or like do you just put out your garbage from the night before? How does that work?
We had a guy that has a surprisingly amount of crow decoys, and we went with him. He had it all set up, and it was really my first time. I think everyone's first time but his, and it was actually pretty fun. I mean, you don't really want to touch them or anything, but we can't really hunt anything in Minnesota right now. So anytime we can fire a shotgun, we're in.
Yeah. Okay. Got a crow hunt under the belt. Now that I know that's a thing, it's gonna have to be on the radar. Well, before we get Milliken on here, I don't know if he's just waiting in the weeds or how this works. Jim just got him. Chained up somewhere.
Well, we need, yeah. Do you remember the pickup line Pat had to get everything going, or I should have wrote that down probably.
No, I don't have anything like that, bud. Let's get to know you a little bit, bud. I saw you sit through the Great Wide Opens. I know you a little bit. I met you out ice fishing, roomed with you at one of the opens. Still don't really know you all that well. May as well put a little background together here before we get rolling.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I started tournament angling probably 20 plus years ago. Cut my teeth on Lake Minnetonka with Austin Felix, South, Josh Douglas, to name a few that have gone on. I mean, Jim Moyna.
Yeah, keep names, bud.
Yeah, we had a lot of competition on a great body of water, and it really brought out the best in all of us. And in the last couple of years, I've been real successful in classic bass, and the Sturgeon Bay Open. You've been out to that, and my kids are growing up and getting old enough now where travel is okay. And we sold our business, so I don't have a job. So now I just fish. So this year I'm doing all 9. I'm going to work my tail off and hopefully at the end of the season fishing in the elites.
You're in a different boat than me, bud.
Oh, there's Pat.
You're okay. What's up, Pat?
Can you hear me?
Now I can.
You finally tightened your leg.
I'm
all nervous about
back.
You were nervous about
no.
torch to run with, and this is your whole career on the line. You could at least tighten your drag and get
No, I use my thumb. I never use my drag. I always use my thumb. For the record, this was just a montage of chaos that just happened.
Well, the drag just blew out on the thumb drag fit.
I am not taking responsibility for any of this. It's all Brad. Can you guys hear me?
In and out.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah.
What's up, Jamie? How are you?
Oh, not bad. I was just doing a little improv while we waited for you to show back up here.
Well, hopefully I'm here. And what this is, I'm sure you guys have already Galaxy. This is not Stray Cast. This is Into the Great Wide Opens. And the whole can of whoop ass on the Bass Galaxy with what's going on in the Opens, correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So a little bit of Jamie talking about how Brad had this segment on some previous straight, and now Jamie's in here to hold the reins with Brad and Stray Cast. We're very excited about it, and I am looking forward to you and watching your progression throughout the season, not only on this show, in the Bassmaster Opens this year. I mean, the as Jamie Bruce refers to it as. But hey, before we bring Benny Milliken on and I get the hell out of here again, let's take care of a little business. What do you say?
Let's do it, Pat.
All right, you ready? Okay. Here's the deal. First off, we're Eskimo brothers with a few partners, right, guys?
Correct. I mean, yes.
Yeah. We share some
mutual
partners.
Yeah.
And that's Power Pole, and thank you, Power Pole, for stepping it up for this half a spot official. If you haven't downloaded the app, please do so. Waterland here on the Stray Cast Crazy Train. Hey, the good old KVD line in place right here. I know you both have a fondness in your heart for OmniaFishing.com.
Got it right
Brad
here.
does. I see your heart pitter-pattering. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
it's
see
all
it. Hey, and Jamie, you sell the smeltinators. You smeltinators over there.
Oh yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they do.
I'm the official guy.
No, real bad in audio. The comments are flying through. You got anything else to say, or can you just beat it?
Oh, the audio's not going through?
Yeah. I figured I'd give you a fair warning in case it said something real sharp and maybe they missed out on it.
Oh, shoot, I'm things.
Yeah.
Okay, hey, guys.
Okay.
Hey, I'm turning. It's all on you guys. God bless you. Bass Galaxy, peace. I'm out.
Well, thanks, Pat, for firing in the first few fouls. Brad, you
Pat
can breathe.
nailed it.
I was thinking earlier, I was like, man, that's big of Pat to, this is really his baby, the Stray Cast show and now into the Great Wide Opens. And he pretty much just handed us the ball to run. I mean, maybe he wasn't thinking about it a whole hell of a lot at the time, but we're running with it. That's a big responsibility for us. I mean, this is a big thing that they've built over the years, and well, now the pressure's off a little bit, Brad.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling a lot better now that Pat's gone, and I think we got to start out with I'm gonna mess this up, but we're gonna do the tin cup whiskey word of the night also Saturday night. So every time we say this word, you can take a drink, a tin cup, drink a Coke, water, whatever you want. Obviously, drink responsible. But what's the word going to be tonight, Brucey?
I don't know. I didn't even know we were doing this.
Yeah, we got to do this.
Let's do. Oh, that's lame.
Or should we have Milliken do it?
Just do the
I guess we do it. Let's get him in here.
Yeah, how do we get Milliken here?
We're going to go to commercial break, and then we'll bring him in.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, let's do it.
We'll see you in a couple minutes.
Okay.
Come on, man, let's roll. What the?
To catch the fish, you need to be one with the fish.
With PowerPole shallow water anchors, you'll get the ultimate in precision, power, and control, so you can catch more fish. No face paint or phony fins necessary.
This is the mountain, and this is mountain whiskey. Unspoiled, untamed, forever wild. There's no safety net, no way down. Up here, it's just man, and the mountain, and his tin cup. Tin Cup Whiskey. Mountain whiskey.
farther. Get some Kevin Van Dam's line and lure. You can launch it a mile. Still going. Better stick to fishing.
There he is.
Boys are live. You boys are
What's
live.
up, man?
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Freezing our butt off. How are you?
Same. A little bit warmer, but about the same.
Nice.
You're ice fishing, hey?
I am, in fact, ice fishing, Jamie. I'm coming up to your country where you said that you can catch them on a GoPro or a stick or a turtle. And unfortunately, I took the driving route when I was heading out to Alaska, where I went back and spent some time with family over the winter season. So I still want to get up there, though.
That's pretty hardcore, bud. You got a big series coming up on the Opens, and you're ice fishing. You're making video content. We're going to talk a lot about that. But damn, you were just catching bass last week.
Yeah, man. Big bass down in Texas, in the Texas area. Man, that's been my channel since I started. Is just kind of exploring it, and so I wanted to kind of have one more trip to kind of clear my brain, switch gears a little bit, get back to my roots a little bit, kind of gain some perspective mentally. Once I hop in the Opens, the mental side of things is going to be the most challenging thing for me. Step number one.
Yeah, bud. We're gonna dive pretty good and deep into that. Man, you've been like the probably the most popular podcast guest the last few months. Can't think of anyone that's been on more than you. So we're not, we're not going to pester you with how'd you start fishing and all that garbage. We just kind of want to sit around and shoot the breeze a little bit and, armchair quarterback this thing a little bit. We're all doing all nines, as everyone knows, watching. You made that announcement a couple months ago. And, until the puck drops in the first one, we've all got the right to speculate a little bit. No one's been stepped on yet. So, looking forward to getting into that with you. And I just had you on my podcast a couple months ago. So good to be sitting across from you again.
Yeah, man. I love hopping on the podcast. That's like you said, I have been lately, but I'm always down to do them because I'm just a lot of people see me as like some type of content YouTube creator, celebrity type, and I'm just the guy that wants to sit down, have a beer, and talk fishing with anyone and everyone for me to hop on.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that, bud.
Yeah.
Your audio is a little bit sparse right now. Hopefully Ginge is working on that right now. We're getting cyberbullied pretty bad in the comments right now. You're not, I know after I had you on my podcast, my things were going up. No hate mail or anything, but definitely some heavy cyberbullying. We're getting chirped. So Ginge,
We're getting chirped a little. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm not used to being live ever. Like having this side deal is a whole new dynamic. It's different. Bill McDonald's saving us though.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah, he's keeping them at bay. He knows the deal.
Is my audio bad?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's doing.
Let me kill the Wi-Fi. Yep. Let me kill the Wi-Fi.
What do you think, Brad?
It might be his location. He's kind of out in the middle of nowhere too. That's not helping.
James, you're taking a lot of flack for this. You're also fiber bullet, you're no stranger.
Pylon.
I think it couldn't get started off better. This is kind of like the Opens in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think it's
No.
his location.
This reminds me of a shotgun start in 1996 where the first 3 boats ended up in the bush.
Oh, there he's doing something.
Oh yeah, this guy knows how to tinker on wires and computers, and he'll dial her in.
Huh.
Well,
I think he's getting it. Well, we could just answer questions for Ben and make up answers, maybe.
yeah, I could be Ben, and you
Yeah,
could ask me interesting questions.
Yeah, I think that would be fair.
All right, shoot, I'll take one.
What's your derb history, Ben? Where'd you get started?
Well, I started fishing the Nebraska Ditch Series in '93. You know, my it's deep rooted in my family. I really got into that. Got on a real heavy shopping cart program. You know, where we go up the ditch and flip shopping carts.
Nice.
And you know, one day I was bagging groceries at the No Frills down the street, and you know, flipping shop carts and evening derbies. And one day I was like, I need something more. So I started bringing a Sony Handycam, like a big one, over your shoulder.
Big sucker. Yeah, I got
I
you.
electrical taped that to my shoulder. And then this thing, you know, called YouTube came knocking around, and I had this big Handycam taped to my shoulder, flipping shopping carts in the ditch in Nebraska, and she all blew up. And then I moved to Texas, and now I'm in the Bassmaster Opens.
Oh, that's a great story, Ben.
We can't do this for too long. We'll let him get his stuff together.
Okay, so Brucey, tell me a little bit more about you. I mean, this is your first year doing all 9, and expectations. What's going on with you?
Cool, bud. Good. I like that. Everyone likes to talk about themselves, especially anglers.
Yeah.
So my deal is, as you know, because I roomed with you for one of the tournaments last year.
Yeah.
So I had to sign up for all 3 Southerns last year. You know, like a couple hundred other people, I got waitlisted for the Southerns. Those seemed to be the real flavor that everyone wanted. And you know, I was obviously super bummed out, but
yeah,
I had never done an Open, never done, you know, any kind of U.S. tournament before. I'm from Canada, fish tournaments up here. You know, heavy into it, obviously. But yeah, so I didn't get into the Florida one. And then I was like, well, I still want to go. Like, you know, I still lined everything up. I was like, you know, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity. I don't have any kids yet. I don't know when that's coming. So I was like, I still want to go and fish in a tournament where Brandon Palinuk's going to be there and whatever. So I kept my deposits in on the waiting list and got in there. I got into Cherokee like 2 weeks before the Derby went down. You had a room for me, and got lucky that you know, the lake really set up to how we fish smallmouths up here, and it worked out well, and got 3rd there. So I was like, okay, that was, you know, obviously super lucky, and fun. But anyway, after that, I was like, well, I wouldn't mind doing that again.
Hi, I can hear you guys again now. I don't know what's happening.
You sound crisp, bud. I got to finish my question. Brad asked me. Oh, there you go.
No.
Oh, boy.
Is that better? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
I think it's your location, Benny.
What's up, guys?
Man, still bad.
Yeah,
Still bad.
I think it's the signal in the middle of nowhere is not good.
Yeah.
We'll
Well, that's
have
all
to do it some other time with Benny.
Yeah, we'll figure that out. So where were we? Where did I leave off? Cherokee. Oh yeah,
Cherokee, when you whooped their butt. Yeah.
Yeah, that was really fun. Got a good check. Saw, you know, what it takes to drive from me just to Cherokee, even, which is pretty far north, is like 24 hours or so. So, got a really good bead on how far I have to travel and what it's going to actually take to do this. And I was like, okay, I'm fine with that. So kept my deposit in for Hartwell. Obviously the last one of the year, not a ton of people are going to fish. So I was pretty confident I could get into that. Went down there, never caught a spotted bass before, just kind of wanted to learn a little bit and pretty much just go for another fishing trip. Went down there, ended up in the top 20 there too, and was like, okay, these are fun. I really like this. I got a chance, if it lines up to me. And man, after that, I was like, okay, well, I got to get into a full division. I work full time. I do lots of media stuff and fishing. I fish walleye tournaments, fish bass tournaments. I'm busy. And when I saw that it had switched to all 9 to qualify for the Bassmaster Opens, I was like, dream was crushed. Because last year, having that 3rd and 19th place finished, all I needed was like 47th or 48th in the first tournament in Florida to qualify for the Elite Series. Like that ain't going to come knocking.
No.
So when they switched it to all 9, I was like, well, the dream's done. There's no chance I can do all 9, and waited out for a while. Lots of stuff going on, like lots of family situation stuff. And I'm looking at it, and I ended up getting enough sponsor support to start really thinking about it. And here we are, man. Signed up for all 9, and
wow. And
I'm way over my head.
And it's coming quick. Like, I mean, I'm actually going to start traveling in probably less than a month. And it's crazy. I look out the window and there's like 12 feet of snow and it's 10 below out, and not really thinking about bass fishing, but here we go.
He should be back.
All I think about is damn bass fishing. You're thinking about bass fishing. Even when you were on that crow prowl today, you were probably thinking about bass fishing. You're a damn bass head.
Yeah. You need a
Benny's
break.
back, boys.
Benny, how's it going, buddy?
We'll just reschedule her, bud. Take a night off. You've been on the podcast constantly. We'll get you back on. I know you got to go rainbow trout fishing. I know you can hear me right now. We can't hear you. Brad's going to be upset. He's been staying up all night by a lantern, using a feather for a pen, writing this big scroll of questions for you. But we'll dial you back in. There's going to be a lot of time and a lot of opportunity to touch base with you again, and we're going to see you on the road, buddy. Sorry this didn't work out. Look how sad he is.
We'll get him. He looks sad. Poor guy.
I just fired someone. Have you ever fired someone?
No, we didn't fire anyone yet.
We just fired.
I mean, we might get fired after the night, but we didn't fire anyone yet.
Brad. We just let Ben Milliken go, and he looked terribly sad. He's the biggest name in the Opens right now. Biggest new name, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely getting the most press out of anyone fishing the Opens right now.
Yeah, I mean, Ish and Bobby are obvious.
He's definitely trying. He's trying another laptop.
Oh yeah,
give him like 2 minutes. We'll see if he can get it.
He's not a quitter. That's what you need in the Opens. I mean, you can't have any quit in you.
Yeah, he's filing a grievance.
He's coming back.
Get his
might
job.
hold this together. Hold on.
Ginge, I didn't like that feeling. Have you ever fired anyone before? Hey, bud.
No.
No.
Don't make me fire you again.
The connection's way better, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's all right. We're not going to make everyone sit through this trying to do the back and forth thing. Brad and I have been on the road for a while. We got a lot of stuff to talk about.
We do. There's a lot of new stuff in the Opens and a lot of stuff not even talked about yet. Like, we don't even know what the payout's going to be. We don't know how many people they're paying. All we know is there's a lot of people doing all 9. And from what I've heard, there's 250 boats signed up for all 9. You can't even get in one right now.
Yeah. I mean, that's a testament to the Bass name. if that many people are just willing to blindly sign up, you know, whatever the entry is, 16,200, it's like 80,000 Canadian, I think.
$1,400,000.
That many people willing to sign up and not, you know, not seeing the payout. That's, like I said, that's a testament to the Bass name. I mean, obviously you don't fish the opens for the payout, but wouldn't mind seeing that sucker.
Yeah, it'd be nice. I mean, maybe before the first derb, but I mean, they do a great job. I'm sure they have something in the works, and we'll probably all be impressed. I hope.
So you and I are going to be rooming together this year.
Yep.
I think. I mean, I booked the first couple houses. You're going to stay in.
Yeah, you're kind of like my travel agent. I love it. Like I'm pretty bad at organizing things like that, and it seems like you're really good at it, so it's a perfect fit.
Okay. And I mean, we're going to have a good team because we got a good mix of dynamic, you know. You're like it seems like you like to grind her out shallow. You're not a huge graph guy. Like, am I getting a good beat on that?
Yes and no. I mean, where I grew up on Lake Minnetonka and where I cut my teeth is probably it's a deep fishery. Like, we fish deep a lot, but it's more not using your graph, not using live scope, more or less using, you know, finding these tiny little rock piles or little kickouts or little coontail clumps where you can't use your live scope very good to see fish. So it's been a little bit of a challenge for me going down to these southern reservoirs and just figuring out these fish hang on nothing. I mean, there could be a lollipop friggin' little thing sitting down there and they're sitting on it. Like, it's really weird to me. Up in Minnesota, we have so much structure and so many fish that they're just, you know, you find the right stuff, it's really good. But down there, you know, you side image for days to find like an isolated boulder or a little tree out there. You know, it's just so different for me. So I do like fishing deep, but I guess my fallback is fishing shallow. I mean, I can mix it up good shallow too.
Well, I don't have to beat on you then.
I
just thought you said bank. I was like, sweet, I'll go deep, you go shallow, and we'll figure her out.
Wow, if I'm on the James River, yeah, I'm gonna be beating the bank. But you know, I usually start out practice deep and figure and kind of mark stuff shallow that looks good to me. And maybe not even practice it, but like have like a couple spots, like after I fish until noon and don't get a bite out deep, I usually go try to catch something in shallow type guy. So I wouldn't say I'm anything at this point. You know, I kind of mix it up with everything.
All right. What do you think of Lake Eufaula? There's a Eufaula Lake Eufaula. I'm petrified of that. I don't know how you feel about it.
I think it'll be interesting. I think we're going. Is it working, buddy?
I can hear you guys, and I think it might be working. I just had to switch everything on my life to make it work.
Oh, buddy, my God, you sound great.
Oh, man. I mean, I don't got my headphones anymore. Sorry for interrupting you. You had a
No, you're the guest. You're the guest.
Yeah. Brad and I
just had 3 heart attacks, but I'm in.
Yeah. Good. Thank God we don't have to interview.
All right, we got the whiskey going. We got the audio. We got the video. We got all of it. Let's talk.
Okay, before we get going, what is the word of the night? It's up to you. Yes, it's up to you.
Let's do opens. A really odd word that we probably won't say at all.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to pick it because I didn't want to pick a surface word, so I'm glad you dug deep on that one.
Yeah, it took a lot of thought. Thank you for throwing that in my corner.
I was going to say YouTube. I was like, that's not real original.
Yeah, then opens.
I saw a comment we should have used audio. That would have probably been pretty fitting for the night.
Yeah.
That was a cyber bully. We got some talking to do
Damn
with them.
cyber bullies are everywhere, man.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, you just saved us from a bullet. Brad and I were talking to each other like we've never talked to each other before, trying to make a podcast of this damn
Sorry about that, boys.
Oh, we're all good. So my first
What's
question
up, guys?
My first question to Ben, give us a little background on your Durban history, like growing up till now.
Yeah, man. So I guess I'll give you a little bit of a long background story, just really quick. But my goal was always to fish professionally. I started fishing tournaments I fished my first tournament my last year in high school, and I was like, oh god, this is something else. I like this. I played sports in high school, so I was very competitive. I played 4 sports and could have played 2 in college or 3 in college, and I ended up playing baseball in college. But anyways, I started a fishing club in college, started the University of Nebraska fishing team. And so we fished a lot of college tournaments, but that was back in like 2008, 2009 time frame. So it kind of goes way back, but had some success with that. Made like the FLW national championship and stuff. And that was a good time. And, I was fishing local tournaments on top of that as well, and probably 20 or so tournaments a year in Nebraska. And we fish, Iowa, South Dakota, Missouri, Kansas area. And so that's kind of where I cut my teeth and got started. But I wanted to fish professionally. I wanted to hop in. Back then it was the Ever Starts and the Opens, of course. But I quickly realized, once I got out of college, got my degree, got a family, and I kind of needed to pay the bills a little bit. So I kind of need to get a job with my degree and realize that you can't do that. You can't take your 8 to 12 weeks off a year with a real job. And so probably should focus on that. So I was like, oh God, what am I going to do? As far as that goes to fish professionally. So I kind of went the YouTube route, but on the side, I fished the weekend local tournaments and stuff and kind of got my dreams crushed with wanting to fish those Ever Starts and the Opens back then. But yeah, so I've kind of just fished local stuff and regional stuff and some championship tournaments with some of the circuits that we fished over the years. And now the last couple of years, really, I moved down to Texas about almost a year and a half to 2 years ago now, 2 years in April. And I've kind of haven't really dove deep into tournaments since I moved to Texas, but I've probably fished 20 or so. And this Opens level of competition is going to be a new thing for me. I've had a lot of success in the local stuff and a little bit in the regional and stuff, but it's definitely going to be difficult. This is, a lot of people are obviously saying this is the most difficult field of anglers that's ever been composed with that many, like you guys were saying, that many guys that are fishing all 9 with the EQs and the other guys on top of that I'm sure are going to jump in jackpots. So it's going to be a challenge.
Hey, I'll tell you this. Every single person in every single series in fishing says it's the hardest series there is. You agree with that?
That's a good point.
I would.
If you're on the Major League Fishing side, then they're wrong.
Shots fired right across the bow.
Jeez, Bam. I'm already doing it.
We got that out of the way. You're, I mean, you're definitely not known for being shy. That's why people like watching you. That's why you're the Bass Anglers YouTuber. You're not running around Walmart doing hot dog challenges trying to catch. Well, I don't know. Maybe you are, but you got a really good bass fishing background. And Brad asking you that question is kind of him flexing on you. He doesn't watch YouTube. All he knows is this great big YouTuber is coming to do the Bassmaster Opens. And he's seen the history of YouTubers in the Bassmaster Opens. So he's testing you right now. I know I've watched your stuff. You can't hide, you can't hide that kind of deep water prowess. I really haven't seen a whole bunch of your shallow stuff, but Obviously that's a big part of your game out there. And did that have any impact on when you were looking at the schedule and were like, I could maybe do this? Or like if there would have been a couple title rivers, would you have jammed on the schedule?
Well, to be honest, like I had most of my tournament success before the live scope thing really took off, and a lot of the deep water dragon and everything that I got into. But I don't know. That's kind of a loaded question, but no, I did not. I would have still jumped in. This was the right time for me for a lot of reasons. I've waited. I've kind of, I guess, honed my craft the last several years. I'm really glad that I waited once I got down in Texas and fished a lot of these diverse fisheries, because there is so many different bodies of water in Texas you can hone your skills on. But I guess the biggest thing for me with jumping into the opens was I love that there is the 5 days of practice and an off limits before that. Honestly, I wish it was 1 or 2 or 3 days at maximum practice. But it is what it is. I really liked that you had to fish all 9. And I really, again, it kind of goes to the effect you were saying, but I really like the schedule that they came out with, because there's not a lot of duds on the schedule. There's not the, fishing Ross Barnett and with a million people trying to fish the same stuff, and you're fishing the Red River in the fall and Chesapeake Bay in the fall, and these
don't bring
strange tidal fishing and stuff. Oh man, I can't even imagine hopping in that tournament. But yeah, that all played into it, because over my career, of tournament fishing, I've had the most success. I've won a lot of local 1-day jackpots and stuff, but I've had my most success when you can really do it over a multiple day period. There's not a lot of local advantage. There's a big a big body of work involved in your success over the season. That's when I've done my best, and I think all of those things kind of fall into what I was looking for. On top of, really, I just need to change. I think I'm making content the last year or so that just has never been available or seen before in the bass fishing community on my YouTube and Facebook channels. And I'd be lying if I said that I wasn't disappointed in the amount of recognition and support it's got in the industry. And I really the way that I can kind of show people that this is legit. I'm not just out there fishing like stocked ponds or something, catching these 10-pounders, showing people live scope footage of the fish schooling on my big baits and stuff, is to do it on a level playing field, which is in the tournament sense. So that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, bud.
Okay, that sounds awesome. So what, another one, what would be a great year in the opens for Ben Milliken? I mean, what are your expectations, or what are you looking to achieve here?
Oh, I honestly don't have any idea what to expect. Mentally, I just, like I said earlier, I want to keep it at, I just want to stay level mentally. I think that's my biggest hurdle with not getting worked up about people fishing a lot of the same areas that I find in practice and stuff, or having a bad day and not being able to bounce back, because I think that's what separates the people that make the points and the guys that don't. It's not in the fishing skill. It's how you can handle the adversity, obviously with any series, but I feel really in the opens, that's the way it is with the guys that qualify. And it's especially going to be true this year, when I feel like it's going to be freaking cutthroat out there, which is going to be interesting. But I don't have an expectation. Like I said, I'm a competitor, and I know, just straight up, I know that if you aren't fishing to win the tournament, then you might as well just pack it in and not even show up. Like, you can't fish for points. You can't fish conservatively to have a chance to qualify. But I also, the more I think about it, and really from the start when I thought about it, my goal is the Bassmaster Classic. I would rather probably qualify for the Bassmaster Classic than qualify for the Elite Series, even though I know it's more difficult to qualify for the Elite Series. I don't know if I want to. I do want to do that, the Elite Series, but I think I would love to win one and qualify for the Classic. So I guess bringing it back, I guess to say a successful season would be, easy, a top 9 in points and win one of them. That's simple, right?
Yeah, that shouldn't be that hard.
Brad, is he checking a bunch of boxes for you? Like I said, Brad's not a big YouTuber, so he doesn't know much about you. So he's asking these questions.
Well,
and he's going through his mind. He's like,
Brad,
okay.
I wouldn't watch YouTube either. I don't blame you, man.
I've watched. Well, I think I was on Straycast with you a while back, and I watched or listened to you on Straycast, and you can obviously tell the way Ben talks. He's a real good angler, and how he just talked there. Like, yeah, he checked pretty much every box right off the get go. You know, he sounds like a legit derber for sure.
All right, bud, you got the nod from Brad Leuthner.
That doesn't mean
There we
much,
go.
but
Now I'm talking. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like we talked about it a little bit previously. I talked on another podcast too. There's never been a person that's come from like social media and fished the opens and cashed a check even, which is crazy to me. And I know like I'm always like super competitive, like I said, and so I understand like the YouTube scene. Like there is not hardly there's almost no good fisher, like legitimate good tournament fishermen that make content on YouTube, besides the guys that are tournament fishermen making content, of course, which is everyone. But so I get where you're coming from there. But yeah, I fish differently than a lot of people with what I've learned the last 3 or 4 years. And so that's going to really help me and really hurt me sometimes. And so those days when it really hurts me, I need to really revert back to my old style of fishing, how I learned to fish and won a lot of those local tournaments and regional tournaments, which is, you know, the old dragger grinder style tournaments.
Yeah, pretty much every tournament the Open goes to is a grinder. It's
For
pretty
sure.
It's pretty brutal. I mean, we get one good one this year. Thousand Islands won't be brutal. That'll be a slugfest, but you'll be shocked. I'd love to talk to you after the first practice on how many boats are like crawling up your butt. I mean, it is insane on the number of people out practicing. And it doesn't get any better, during the tournament either. That was the biggest shocker to me, is how many. I mean, you have nothing to yourself. There's nothing.
Yeah, I get it. It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. But again, I'd fish a little bit differently, so hopefully that allows me to find some stuff that other people aren't.
I'm sure you will. I mean, you're top notch.
Brad, to what you're speaking to about, you know, how many boats are around and everything, man, you got to understand where I'm coming from up here. Like, you can fish a tournament day and not see a boat all damn day except for takeoff and weigh in. And man, some of those lakes down there are just loaded with these guys. And the thing that is like terrifying to me is like when you see a 19 or 20-year-old with a 250 on a 20-foot bass boat, because that's not a thing up here. All the kids start with like 17-foot 50-horse tillers and like graduate up. Like anytime I see, you know, someone put it in gear in one of those 70-mile-an-hour rigs, I'm like pretty nervous, man. That's a big deal. I'm sure you're like coming from Nebraska. I'm sure that's a new thing too to you.
Oh yeah, man. I kind of started to see it when we started the college fishing thing, even way back. A lot of guys running around with daddy's money, and I guess didn't really know what they were doing with the fishing rod. And I'm always been the guy that, you know, I started with little tiny boats. I fished until I was 18 out of a ski boat, and then I had a Lumacraft 16-footer with a 40 horsepower on it. I mean, I would still fish out of that stuff, honestly, if I didn't do the YouTube thing. And so it, yeah, I know where you're coming from with that, though.
Yeah,
that doesn't make me nervous, though. That makes me excited. I'd love to see as many as those 18-year-olds in there as possible.
It's
no, not them. It's just it's a different concept to me.
Yeah,
yeah, definitely.
It's pretty shocking. I mean, there's the college movement, and those kids coming out of college are real good anglers. They're good. I mean, they spend 4 years in college. Most colleges give them scholarship. They travel all these lakes we go to, and they have 4 years of knowledge on every lake before we get there, and they're pretty tough to beat. It's pretty impressive watching some of those kids.
Definitely.
Yeah, that seems to be the wave. Man, it's like that number is getting higher of those guys every year. That's probably who scares me the most, to be honest, is like just the sheer amount of them. And people gripe like, these guys have never worked before. All they know is fishing. All they do is fishing. Well, every other professional sport, that's how it works too. You just come through the ranks. That's where you go, college, and then into bass fishing. The one thing that concerns me about this, this kind of rise, and really excites me that someone like you, Ben, is coming to the Opens, is that bass fishing isn't as much of a spectator sport as anything else. It's not like a stick and ball sport where someone can sit in the stands and watch this stuff. It feels like the majority of the audience are, obviously tournament bass fishermen, and then just people in fishing, where, when someone like you comes over, you have an audience of 500,000 followers roughly, right? That is said to be the entire audience of bass fishing tournaments. So you're obviously bringing people from different backgrounds, maybe that don't even go fishing, but like watching your videos or something like that. So, when you come along, you bring that mix into it. When Brad and I come down from up north, we kind of bring that mix to it. But what happens when all these college anglers are just beating everyone all the time, and aren't really, they don't really have a big fishing background or an audience? Like, who's watching?
Yeah, for sure, man. That's one thing that definitely excites me, is being able to share this as much as possible. And we're going to do our best with that, to share it across all platforms and really film every minute of it, which is it's so cool for me, because I've had people since I first started my channel, which was kind of based around tournament fishing 6, 7, 8 years ago, telling me, you should hop in the Opens, join the Opens, you need to fish the Opens, I want to see how you do. You do it great in the Opens. And now I finally get to bring that to fruition, with fishing the Opens. It's my lifelong dream. Chest camera, dash camera, and Coleslaw, the camera guy, going to be in another boat following me around too. So we're really going to get a great look at it, and I'm going to try my best not to tell Cole to get the camera out of my effing face when I get off the water and have a crappy day. Yep. That's going to be the toughest thing for me, is to document the important stuff, which is the emotion and the off the water stuff, when it's extremely difficult to be able to share that when I have as much competitiveness and passion about this as I do. So going to try to do the best I can.
Yeah, that's the good stuff though, bud. I mean, that's what, you hear people talk about growing the sport all the time, and Fighter really captured it well the other night on Straycast. And he said, man, the sport's big enough. Like, it's grown, where you're showing that off the water motion thing and kind of the coming up through the Opens. That's growing it from the audience perspective. And I really feel like that's the direction, and I really hope that's the direction everything should be going into. So really happy that you said that, and are going to show some of that off the water stuff. I mean, I know like JT Kenny on the old FLW circuit breaker, that used to be a great watch, because he'd get, he'd be pissed off at these lakes that they're supposed to be, not speaking poorly of, and he'd be throwing rocks at the lake and crushing Keystone lights, and showing you how it really was on the road. And that's, if someone's not watching to learn how to soak a worm on Lake Eufaula, they want to watch for that storyline. So I really think that's going to help, and we're excited to be alongside you for this, because it's going to help everyone.
Exactly. And not to just really quick, but not to take anything from like the guys who do a great job of filming the tournaments, like Palaniuk and all the stuff you see from like Wheeler. But that series, the Circuit Breaker, was my all-time favorite portrayal of life on the road tournament series, especially the season with JT Kenny. It was phenomenal. And of course, Chad Grigsby. That was some of the best coverage off the water, and just a little bit on the water, but mostly off the water, of a professional angler's honest point of view that I've seen.
Yeah. yeah, Casey Martin too. You're not going to get it any more raw
Yep.
than that. So,
And the
man,
Mark Daniels Jr. season was really good too.
yeah, the amount of people I talk to, like people from up here start to follow Gussie down, obviously. So like there's a big boom to FLW and then over to Bassmaster. Now everyone's becoming familiar with all these. And that series was kind of the most talked about among people that don't fish or really care about tournament fishing. They still wanted to watch that part.
Yeah, they did a great job of showing kind of how the families were involved and their backgrounds were involved. That they just really told a great story of those seasons, and hopefully we're able to do that.
Yeah, bud, do that. I'm gonna have old. Go ahead, Brett.
Everyone thinks. I mean, everyone I talk to, they're like, "Oh, you fish tournaments? It must be the greatest thing on the planet." Well, some days it sure is, but there's a lot more hard days than great days, and they'll be awesome watching it.
Yeah, I mean it's a never ending cycle. I mean, you hear about the guys that qualified for the elites every season, including last year, and they're like, "Yeah, it's great, but now it's way harder that we're on the elites." So we have this insanely difficult gauntlet of tournaments with this crazy talented group of anglers, 175 anglers fishing all of them, and if we somehow get through that, then it is substantially more difficult and more expensive.
Yeah. But awesome also.
Don't mean to poop on your parade there, but yeah.
I've heard, I mean, from my buddies who fish elites said when you get there, it's a lot easier fishing wise than the opens. So I don't know. Who knows? That's what I'm looking forward to.
100 anglers on the water and shorter practice is different than 250 for 5 days and whatever, pre-practice stuff.
Yeah, it'll be interesting this year with the cutoff. I mean, last year we were dealing with people that there's some guys that made the elites last year that probably practiced close to a month each tournament, or at least 2 or 3 weeks. So it'll be interesting this year. It'll be more of the raw angler, I think. I mean, nothing to take away from those guys who made it, but it'll be different this year.
Yeah. And that you hear a lot of the gripes about, crushing it for the working man. Like when the 9 tournaments came out, and I said the same damn thing. I was like, it's totally taken away from the working man. But that step to have an actual off limits and knock the practice down to 4.5 days, there's never been a step like that to put it more in favor of the working man. The couple I went to, I'm looking to get there the Saturday before, never even seen a species that lives in that lake. And you got to put it together in a few days. And that, to me, that's derby fishing, not moving in. And, obviously there's a lot of bad things that could happen for over practicing and everything like that. But I mean, that was a good move on my, I thought that was dialed.
Yeah, I completely agree on that. And I do see both sides of it. Obviously, fishing all 9 is not going to be for the guy that can only take a few weeks of work off every year. But, I mean, bass, I see the point they say. Obviously, they're doing the right thing for the anglers where they are saying, if you can't take 9 weeks of work off this year, how are you going to take it off next year when you have to pay substantially more money if you do qualify? And I don't know. I mean, I guess I understand it. Let's be transparent here, and this might ruffle some feathers, but bass could have done whatever they wanted to because they know that there's a massive demand for people that want to fish the opens. I mean, we still don't know a payout schedule. They could say that the first place in the tournament is $0, except you get to fish the Bassmaster Classic. And 175 of us are signed up anyways, right? Like they did it because the demand was there and the ball is in their court and it's a business and they're trying to make money. But at the same time, I do understand where they're coming from, where like if you fish 3 tournaments on Ross Barnett in the Red River and Toledo Bend, which if at a crappy time of the year and you finish in the top 3 in points by grinding your way through the lakes that you're familiar with and been fishing for 40 years, should you be on the Elite Series, which fishes 9 tournaments a year and has 3 days of practice and fishes around the country? Maybe not. maybe that's not going to be a successful career for you, and you're going to drop $100,000 in entries and travel expenses that next year and get in over your head and be in debt for a very long time and not do well. I mean,
and possibly
I definitely see both sides of it.
You know, maybe you had 3 weeks off and fished 3 tournaments, and then you got to leave that job behind. So you might not be going back to that. I totally
Exactly.
You know, as poopy as I was at, you know, when I first heard it, I'm really coming around to it.
Well, I think it's another way of getting you ready for the elites, though, too. Cutting the practice. I mean, I'll be dead honest with you. I mean, if you have to work a full-time job, I mean, just to do the opens is probably almost impossible unless you're independently wealthy. Or I know you're doing it, Brucey, and
I'm doing it from 27 hours away from each derby. So I'll let you know after 3, I'll probably be legally dead, but we're gonna try. But that means not a single day off for the beach, not a single day off for. I don't have any kids yet, but if that would be actually impossible with a regular job, you know, that means not pre-fishing for any tournaments all last year to save every single day off I have. So it is doable, maybe.
It is doable, maybe, but I mean, you're doing pretty well. I think Bass also wants people to be set up sponsor-wise, so when they get there, and they're doing a better job of promoting it this year, which we haven't seen in the past, very little of it. So I think they're going in the right direction, promoting the elite qualifiers more and maybe giving us a better opportunity to get better sponsorship. So when we do make the elites, it's not such a big transition.
Yeah, and it's like a tour now.
Yeah, and I think it's really a tour. They've kind of changed their stance on what it is, which is cool because that's the way it's always been. But they're kind of taking recognition of that. And then I see over here in the chat, please keep asking questions in the chat. That's always great to ask these questions. And I think later on we'll answer some of those. But Casey Briggs asked, or he said, this is real stuff. You're talking about money and how feasible the dream is. And as someone who, to be extremely humble, like I can afford to pay these entry fees and stuff and the travel and everything now with what I've done the last several years on YouTube and having that be my job where I can film and make money from filming these videos and ad revenue and stuff. It's insane. Like and this is my biggest dream is to fish these opens. This is still over my head to be able to even mentally manage how these 10-day trips and spending this much on entry fees and travel costs. And well, shit, I might want to run 80, 100 miles in that tournament. That's going to be $300, $400 a day in fuel plus fuel for the practice period. And I'm probably not going to make any money on it's entirely possible I won't make a check this year. Like it is insane. When I have a job where I can fish and make money from these videos, and everything, but it's still, and it's extremely like to actually jump in, put those deposits in and actually make it. It's like, oh God, I'm in, now what? This is all I've wanted. And now what do I do? Like it's crazy how much of a commitment it is. So props to everyone that's doing it. And everyone that has done it in the past, because, it's crazy to think about. If you have anything in your life besides fishing and a lot of money, it's crazy to try to wrap your head around it.
It's a super scary venture, no doubt about it.
Yeah. Hey, but all that being said, and you know, my kind of take on it was like I had made enough money through tournaments last year to where I was like, okay, we'll just go vaporize this. But there's not really any other sports where, you know, in your 30s and 40s, you can be like, okay, I've set myself up enough. I'm willing to sacrifice a little bit of time. I'm going to the show, you know? And now it's like a tour. It's like, I'm not treating it like I got to go make the top 9 and go to the elites right now. Like I'm looking at it like, well, this is your chance to go fish on tour for, you know, all 9 tournaments against a bunch of good anglers all across the country. And there's not really any other place where you can pass your peak, just pay an entry fee, and go. So I mean, that's kind of the silver lining part to it that I'm looking at.
Well, I think it's probably different down in Texas. There's probably a lot of local tournaments with really good money in it. In Minnesota, there's decent circuits, but you're never going to make a living doing it. You're never going to get the recognition you need for it. And the one thing I'll tell you, I've done the Opens for 2 years and been fortunate enough to make a couple top tens. And making one top 10 in the Opens is better than the 20 tournaments I've won in Minnesota. I mean, for publicity wise, everything. I mean, probably why I'm on Straycast tonight, just the people you meet, and it is a next level. And there is, I mean, if you go and catch fish when you need to, the sky's the limits for you. I mean, that's what's intriguing for me, and it can happen real quick when you're doing the right tournament circuits, or the right circuit.
Yeah, I mean, the sky is the limit, I guess, as far as we go for a tournament fishing perspective. So it's cool. I mean, it's not like any other sport. Fishing is really independent. We always try to compare it to baseball or NASCAR or NFL, or why are entry fees this when entry fees are this for golf, and why are payouts this and fishing when they paid this much money in the NFL. You can't compare it. It's so much different than any other sport. And this entire way that the tournament, I mean, all the tournaments are leveled out, and the payouts and everything is just different. I mean, you can't pay $15,000 and go play AAA baseball. You can't pay that. You can't pay entry fees and go play college football. It's different. And while I'm under the impression, of course, of a lot of the guys that were the dreamers that went over to the MLF Pro Series, like they wanted to have no entry fees and everything, and that the anglers are in charge. And yeah, that's all good to say until you're not making any money. Like it's just everyone tries to do the best thing. Every series tries to do the best thing possible for the anglers, but when it comes down to it, we have to accept what we have as a sport, and it's great that we're able to make a living, all of us, fishing. So this is a great opportunity to capitalize on it, but we also have to understand how much goes into scenes behind fishing. Like like I said, I would have loved to jump into the Opens or into professional fishing on the tournament side of things 6-7 years ago when I started my YouTube channel. That was my goal and my dream. But as we can know, like that's not a way you can make a living right now. Even as an elite series angler, you can't make a living without the background stuff, the sponsor help, and now everything that's happened with social media over the last 5 to 10 years. So there's so much that goes into it, but at least we have the opportunity to get to that highest level, the best marketing, brand building level. And I'm really glad to see Bass hopping in this year, especially to really promote that.
Yeah, it's impressive. They give you the format to be successful, honestly. They give you the platform, and it's up to you however far you want to take it,
Yeah,
definitely.
She's based on performance, but looks like if you crack them, they're going to pump you,
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, pumping you and posting your picture on Instagram doesn't put money in your pocket. So, yeah, as Sean Lay just said there right now, the tournament organizations are, in fact, trying to make money for themselves. That's why the payouts are the same as they were in 1992. So,
yeah, and I get that. And, I also get the sense that, they're still putting out a platform there. If they're not making money and that goes away, what do we do?
We're digging ditches again.
Yeah, so I'm sure that's a fine balance there. I mean, I'm sure if there were hundreds of millions in non-endemics coming in, then that would be paid forward. But my hunch is that the payouts are reflective of how the business is going and what's coming in. That obviously
they are
not books, but
yep. They are for sure. I personally, not to be critical, but I would love to see some hires or some really more visible attempt at going after some of the bigger money paying non-endemics. When I got into college fishing, the biggest platform was FLW, and the Army National Guard was the biggest sponsor of the series. And it was straight up like the regional tournaments, or the invitationals, they called them. So there was like three invitationals, and there was only 50 boats in each tournament. And you had to get in really quick. They would like put the teams up right away. You could only put one team per school, and everyone would click on it right away to try to get in. And then if you got in the top 10, you'd qualify for the regional. The top 10 of that would qualify for the national championship. Well, when the Army National Guard, this is just an example of how the money works, but the Army National Guard was in it. It was $25,000 if you won one of those invitationals with no entry fee in a 50-boat field in college. And when it was a regional, you qualified, it was $50,000. And then when you won the national championship, it was $100,000 in a boat. And then the next year, when they backed out, it was like $1,500 for first place in the invitational, like $4,000 for the regional, and like $15,000 for the national championship. So, I mean, that's just like a crazy example of how we can get some of these non-endemics involved. I know it's not as easy as just like reaching out to people and they're going to throw $20 million at it, but the fishing industry really is small. The tournament fishing industry, that is, there's only so much money to go around. Everyone knows everybody. All the brands know everybody. And so if we're really going to expand what we can do for the anglers, we have to get more of these non-endemics involved.
Yeah, bud. I agree with that. And I really think that's where, guys like you and similar are going to come in. There needs to be an entertainment factor for it to be worth anyone's while. People aren't
definitely
that into just watching someone's nose glued to a screen. Like, you got to see something. And, you talk to a lot of those old bass guys back in the glory days, and they're entertainers.
Yeah.
So
yeah, definitely. It's great to see the live coverage is really taking things to the next level when you're talking about putting that stuff on FS1 or ESPN2 like it was. But at the same time, like, we've had, live FS1 footage, but we haven't had an increase in payouts. So where is that live money going? What are those numbers doing? They're, I guess, putting the people who have jerseys on brands in front of more people so they can try to get better sponsorships. But it's an interesting conversation to have, I feel like.
Yeah, bud, I got you. You're deep entrenched into that, and being a part owner in a tackle company and someone who directly sees numbers monetized. I'm sure you look at it and your wheels are turning. Me and Brad are just looking at it like, I'm gonna throw my frog there.
I just hope I have enough money to eat tonight. That's how we're looking at it.
Well, that's normal. That's what we should all be feeling. Of course, I don't fault you guys for feeling that way. It's just like if we're gonna have more than 30 guys, 40 guys in the sport that are making a comfortable living out of hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands, then there's got to be more. And so hopefully, this focus on building brands of these guys that are in the EQs, as they're calling it, and really building people up is the start of what is to come.
Yeah. I mean, I really like the direction it's going in.
It looks a lot better than it did last year at this time. So I just hope everything works out, and not to mention it's been a hard year or two on all the retailers and, sponsors. I'm sure everyone's dealing with a little bit of that right now. And I don't know. I'm just fortunate to be able to do it and have a platform to share it. That's my whole deal. But
always want to talk about
what? Go for it, Brucey.
Want to get off this and talk about Eufaula a little bit?
Yeah, let's get off the dread. Yeah.
All right. Are you looking forward to that place, Ben?
Oh, I can't wait. I'm so excited. Mostly because it's the first tournament and that's all you can think about. You know, everyone's Kevin Van Dam in January until the tournament season starts, but I can't wait. It sets up to my strengths, so we'll see how it actually plays out. I'm really just hoping that they don't get 72 inches of rain and the lake comes up 34 feet. But if it does, then there's going to be a winner of the tournament. And so that's how you got to look at it, right?
Yeah. Brad?
I think so. I mean, I'm looking forward to everyone. I'm just looking forward to getting out of the snow, to tell you the truth. But yeah, it should be a good fishery. I mean, it's not like going to Maryland. There should be bass to catch. And, you know, if they get a lot of rain, that place gets pretty muddy from what I've heard, and it can get pretty tough. But, I mean, that time of year, depending on spring, I mean, there could be a little pre-spawn. There could be even spawning going on. I mean, there's a lot of options that time of year.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
definitely.
man, got to be the most researched tournament of all time, probably. This much interest in fishing all 9 opens. You know, the first one of the series. Like, how much research is going on? Like, it's got to be crazy. You can see everyone's little YouTube video from 3 years ago is like all of a sudden gone to 2,000
viral.
views.
They're viral now.
Just their mom and their uncle watching, and now they got a few thousand views. So you can tell the research is rolling.
Yeah,
man,
definitely. I mean, I talked to a couple of guys that live down there, and one guy I'm staying at that hit me up. I'm staying at their house on the lake, but he said there's so many wrapped boats down there in the pre-practice period that it's just getting beat to shit. But
yeah,
we'll see how it goes. It's a
And
big
we're-
lake. I think it's the one thing that about Eufaula is it looks awesome. It obviously I think it's gonna be a really fun lake, but it's way bigger than it looks on the map. I talked to Lee Livesey about that a little bit. He's like, yeah, man. I mean, it looks like you can just blast down there to the southern end or go up the river or whatever. But when you get down to it, man, that's a freaking haul down there. That's a 45-minute run to go south to the southern stuff, and it's bigger than it looks. But as with a lot of fisheries on the schedule, I don't know if we're going to get into it. I'd love to talk about all the tournaments on the schedule and the bodies of water, but they're all, for the most part, or maybe all, they're all giant bodies of water that are probably going to fish big for a lot of the season, which is exciting to me.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first 3 are pretty set up. It should be good fishing, you know, time of year and decent fisheries. I think Eufaula's kind of on a downswing from what I've heard. It used to be really, really good, but you know, there'll be fish to be caught, you know. And I think, what's the next one? Where's the next one we go to, Brucey?
Man, I'm still
to Ben. Let's talk about it.
Practice.
What?
I actually think people would be pre-practicing. I knew.
Oh yeah. There's people down there.
Dude, I think there's probably so many people pre-practicing from what I've heard, but it is what it is. Good luck catching fish on that stuff when they want to move up.
I would never go down pre-practice. I mean, maybe drive around and idle a little bit and check it out, know where the boat ramp is. But catching a fish a month before a tournament, I don't like catching them 3 days before the tournament, let alone a month before.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think about pre-practicing and stuff. I've talked to some of the veteran dudes, and they're just like, yeah, if you can, you should try to pre-practice this lake and this lake and this lake. And I'm just like, yeah, I would love to hit Wheeler Lake on the way home, or Watts Bar on the way home from Virginia, but that's like 8 hours out of the way from my house, and I would love to go to my home to my wife and my kid. Like, I guess. I mean, I just feel like it's a crapshoot to pre-practice. Yeah, it would be great if I could show up to Eufaula and have 1,000 brush points waypointed, but like everyone talks about, man, it's all about fishing the moment, the what they're on right then that day in the tournament, and that's the reason I would love for the series to only have a 2 or 3 day practice period. Like, what you find 2, 3, 4, 5 days before the tournament isn't going to be there for the tournament, and so very likely anyway. So it's just like, Man, we're just adding more pressure to it when you go pre-practice.
I'll be super excited after that one's over, because that one is probably the most pressured one for me. Like, you come out of that derb with a 200 place finish, I mean, you're gonna have to win like 4 in a row to get back into it. So
You get
I'll
at
be
least
super
one point.
excited to get through that one with a good finish.
You think you can still make it if you get 0 points in the first one? Because 200 on gets 0 points, right? Or 201.
Yeah, so
on.
50 people can get 0 points, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's no pressure. No, that'll be good.
And there's 75 locals on top
There's
of that.
always 75 locals. So then you can, it's
Not 75 locals, like 60, and then 15 people that jackpotted it because they know it really well.
Right. Okay. Huh.
I think so. To kind of, I don't know if we're going to go through the whole season, but to me, what I feel looking at the schedule is that there is a 2-week period that are going to be the 2 toughest tournaments on the schedule. That is going to name, if you can get it together, how obviously have a good season up to that point, and then do well in those 2. It's going to determine who the top 9 are to go to the Elite Series. And that is the Lake of the Ozarks and then the Watts Bar, the 2 tournaments on there that are going to be very tough times of the year. Solid bodies of water that are fishing decent, but 2 very tough times of the year. And they're the only back-to-back tournaments we have where you leave one and drive directly to the other one. And I think that's going to, if people can just manage their way through those, that's going to make or break who qualifies, to me, unless of course you do terrible before.
Yeah.
But that's just, to me, if you have a solid start, have a couple of really good tournaments, and then you can manage your way through those, then you have the opportunity to be in the top 9, because those 2 are going to be crapshoots. They're going to be grinders. Both lakes are really good sized lakes, but bad time of the year, and those are the 2 toughest ones when I look at the schedule for me.
I think a kind of a sleeper, like people underestimate too, is Thousand Islands. Like, it's a really good fishery, but it's really easy to catch a mediocre bag and get no points. Like every other lake we're going to, if you catch 15 pounds a day, you're probably fishing a top 10, right? Well, you catch 15 pounds a day on Thousand Islands, I mean, you're like probably 150th place. So, I mean, they're all scary. I mean, it's just crazy.
It's crazy how spread apart they are. I got this,
They are.
this stats guy, advanced bass stats guy on Instagram is dialed. He broke it right down. I looked at like the furthest everyone had to travel, like Ish Monroe's number 1, 2,300 miles. I was up there. I got 1,500 miles roughly. But then the closest guy is in Birmingham, Alabama, like should be bass fishing central. He should be 2 hours from every single tournament. He's got 500 miles to drive each tournament. Like, that's the average. Brad, you didn't even make the damn list. You live in Minnesota.
I didn't even make the list?
No, there's a guy in Texas in the top 10, 1,200 miles. How does that even happen?
Everyone thinks Minnesota's closer than it is. I mean, I
live
do.
in Nebraska. You're paying.
Yeah, it's like, I think last year, each northern event, the closest one was 18 hours. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everyone drives.
I'm kind of surprised. Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of surprised looking at the schedule. They didn't do one more northern one. But I think it's a really good schedule. It's a very diverse. It's so diverse, which is so cool to me. And obviously you can't have tournaments in December and January and winter patterns and stuff because of the way everything works. But they did as good a job as they could with spreading everything out, really getting a big picture and a big view of who the best anglers are, I guess. But I'm really surprised they didn't throw another northern smallmouth fishery out of the 9 tournaments on there.
I would have liked. I mean, I wouldn't mind going to New York for like 4 or 5 derbs, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. I wouldn't
Yeah.
mind more than one smallmouth tournament, considering I've never weighed a largemouth in a bass tournament in the U.S. in my entire life. That's what all these derbies are for one.
There's more than one smallmouth tournament on the schedule there, man.
Grand or that Oklahoma one. What's that called? Other Eufaula. That
Other
one?
Eufaula.
There's if you're gonna count that one, there's 4.
Wheeler?
Yep.
And
Watts?
Missouri.
Watts Bar. Oh, I'm excited now.
Oh, Watts Bar?
Not like the other.
No smallmouth
Yeah.
lake. No.
Huh. That's cool.
Hey, do you guys know if you can lock in any of these tournaments, like in Wheeler and Watts Bar?
I doubt it. But I don't know for sure.
I don't either.
They'll tell you. They'll tell you like right before practice, probably.
Yeah, straight cast rules meeting right here. Here we go.
Yeah, we
Start
can
with
go
the
over the
airport.
rules.
Tournament jersey. Oh boy. Oh, it's 4 smallmouth tournaments, Brad. Better get some points if you foul.
I think Wheeler is going to be a slugfest a little bit as far as opens go. I know you guys are saying that all the opens are going to be tough, which is true, but Wheeler could be really good, and smallmouth are going to play in that one. There's going to be a lot of smallmouth weighed in. St. Lawrence River is as good of a time, I think, as we can almost hit it. But I fished with Corey Johnston there for like 2.5 days in the fall this year, and the weather sucked, and it sucked. Like it's a tough fishery, honestly, with a lot of people fishing it. I don't know if it's going to be 15 pounds gets a top 150. Honestly, I think if you can catch like 17, 18 pounds a day, you can probably get in the top 50. But
yeah, I mean,
if the weather's not right, it could suck.
Yeah, but we're hitting it. I mean, there'll probably be fish spawning yet, honestly. So
there's going to be a little bit of everything.
Yeah, that place is amazing. I mean, I've been there twice, and it is probably the best smallmouth fishery I've ever seen. I mean, Sturgeon Bay is really good at certain times, but Thousand Islands is pretty hard to beat. But I don't think I'm pretty sure we're not going to the lake, which will make it a little more interesting. But
yeah,
we're not going to the lake, you think?
I don't. Usually when they blast off out of Messina, they cut off the lake. So all those Corey spots you got are worthless, bud.
Dang it.
Yeah, bud. You're going to be fishing under ships.
We did fish some lake stuff, and it was just like it was raining and it was cloudy, and they did not want to bite. And I was like, we mostly were doing media stuff because Corey hopped on with 6 Cents, and I was going to design a lot of smallmouth stuff, which I'm super pumped for. And I got to see a lot of his secret sneaky stuff. But we got done with the day, and we caught like 17 1 to 2 pounders on like 8 different spots. And he's just like, I'm like, Corey, we're going to fish some different stuff tomorrow, or what's going on? What do you think? He's like, Body, do you know how many 5-pounders I've caught on that point right there that we fished today? I'm like, all right, I get it. They just weren't biting today. They just didn't show up. So I mean, it can happen. I think if you can have the best day ever and break down there and not come in with anything. So that'll be an interesting one for sure. It's like it's interesting to hear you say that, Brad, as a northern guy. It's a huge wild card when it comes to the entire 9 tournament schedule.
I mean, I personally like going there, but it is one of those deals. The lakes where people catch them, it can be easier to lose points, right? Like you go to a shitty fishery and you catch 10 pounds a day, you're fine. You don't lose many points, but you go someplace like that, you can lose, a lot of points. I mean, I don't know. It sounds like Corey didn't take you to the juice to me. Are you sure he took you to the juice?
Yeah. Did you have a chest camera on?
Yeah.
That would have been a red flag.
I had a chest camera on. I filmed the whole video. I don't know, man. I kept asking him, like, what is this spot? He's like, I don't know. It just kind of sets up like other spots. I've never been here before, but I assume it's a good spot, right? Like he definitely showed me the good stuff.
He probably took you on Shakura's whole milk run from his last derby down there.
Probably.
Yeah, he did. We were down below Niagara Falls. Is that where he won at? I'm not sure where Corey took me. Is that a good spot?
Yeah, it should be good.
I'm kidding. Okay, moving on.
Okay,
Yeah.
let's go.
Yeah. You want to play Would You Rather? We're on straight cast. We can't be getting too damn serious here. We better loosen her off a little. The drag, boys.
Yeah,
there we
do
go.
the
Look
would you
at Pat
rather.
over there in the comments, like a seventh
He's
grader.
busy. This bam, bam, bam.
Yeah. He's trashed his house.
He's typing more than we're talking.
He's losing it. He's walking around.
Pat's freaking out. He's got a podcast and he doesn't get to talk on it. He's
Yeah.
pulling his hair out.
Yeah, he's wondering. He's really digging deep at his life decisions here. But he'll be doing an insurance claim on his house, punching holes in the drywall. There he is.
Oh man, he's chirping in right now.
Delete that comment.
Yeah, block that guy, Jin.
Feel drowsy at all? No. Yeah, I hopped on Corey's boat and he's like, "I'm gonna take you to all the juice, man. Next year you're gonna win the Open." Even though the Open, I didn't know I was fishing the Opens next year. And he's like, "Just this drink I got, this new sponsor drink is really good." And I drank one of them, and just woke up 3 days later, and I don't remember anything else. But yeah,
That
he
happens.
did a great job guiding me.
2-Lane Brewing.
Yep,
2-Lane.
Huh.
2-Lane Brewing.
Trick with Tin Cup.
Yep.
All right,
So
bud.
Opens.
Nah. Let's do Would You Rather. Let's do a little straight cast game. We'll make Patty proud.
Okay.
All right. You ready? I'll ask Ben first, Brad. Then you
Let
can
it
go.
Okay.
All right. Would you rather allow all co-anglers to fish on the front deck with you in competition, or use only monofilament for the remainder of the season?
Monofilament's the devil, but I guess I would do the front deck. Co-anglers in the front deck.
Okay. Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, that's how we come up with these two terrible situations.
I mean, my buddy Zark's a wizard. He's one of the best fishermen in the country, and I whoop his ass when I got Panoptics going on the front decks.
Mm-hmm. All right. Brad, how about you? Rather have co-anglers on the front deck or straight mono?
Do you got fish straight mono on a spinning pole too, or?
Oh yeah, bud. If it was a bait caster, it wouldn't even be a question.
Oh, that changes it. Like, I didn't think it's even legal to put monofilament on a spinning rod, so I thought that was out. But I'd probably rather just stay home, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, that's the wild card. That's the answer we were looking for. You win, Brad.
Perfect.
Yeah, Brad wins. Fish locally.
Open.
No,
Yeah.
I like it.
Ben, you lost, so now you got to do both mono and
Okay.
co-anglers on the damn deck.
Great. I'll keep that in mind. I'll just split everything up tonight.
One more terrible situation for you. This one's not terrible. This one's two good things. Brad, you don't get to answer this one.
Come on.
All right. Would you rather win the Bassmaster Classic, Ben, and restart your entire YouTube and career, lose all your followers, and have to start day one today, or not?
Those were the two things?
Yeah.
Win the
Classic
Bassmaster
YouTube.
Classic. 1000%.
Yeah. There's a Derber. Pat wanted to know. We all wanted
He wanted to know. Yeah, we found out he's a Derber.
Yeah. I like that, bud.
I mean, I feel like I could restart and it would take a little bit longer for sure to do well, but people would find me, right? Maybe. Probably not.
Yeah. Probably an equal amount
Well,
of
if you
work.
won the Classic, I'm sure, yeah, you'd probably catch right up pretty quickly.
I mean, 500,000 subscribers doesn't pay your bills. So, yeah. You got to get people to watch your stuff.
Yeah. Guess you still need views. We don't know any of this
Yep.
stuff. Everyone just sees the big shiny number and thinks you can just kick back and you're good to go, right?
Well, I'm not in Wyoming ice fishing because it's fun.
Oh, don't be ripping on Brucey. I mean, I'm sure he was out slaying some walleye today.
He's not ripping on me. He's up ice fishing for the lube tube. I was out ice fishing today. Brad was out shooting birds in a dump.
Yep.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's kind of the big question that I think was probably on a lot of people's minds is where, how your thought process was. We know it's not a ploy to get, more views or anything through fishing the opens or anything like that. Matter of fact, you'll probably get less on a lot of videos. It's just kind of how it seems to be in the of tournament videos. You're not going to be out there doing challenges or ice fishing or anything like that. So yeah, bud, you seem to have the schedule under wraps. Told me and Brad that there's smallmouth now. We're just looking at the first one. The rest of them we haven't even considered yet.
Yeah, I'm one derb at a time, one day at a time. Hopefully.
Yeah.
That's really the way to take it. It's going to be such a grind. Everyone says it's a gauntlet, and that's the truth, man. It's literally every single day you have to fish well. You can't blank. You can't say screw it. I don't have a fish at noon. I'm just going to go try to catch a big one to try to win and do shitty. You can't do that. I mean, it's going to be tough, and it'll be interesting. We're all going to get kicked in the teeth. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. Hey, I got a question for Benny. What is your go-to when the wheels come off? What lure?
Depends on what kind of fishery it is, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't just be like, oh, I throw a wacky rig Cinco at the bank. Like, I can't. I'm not the type of guy that can say that because obviously you could potentially catch something. But it depends on the tournament. It depends on the part of the country.
Say you're on Lake Eufaula. Say we're on Lake Eufaula. The wheels come off the first day. What are you going to pick up, Benny? What are you going to grab out of the box of the boat and go like, this is how I'm going to put 5 schwankers in the boat?
It depends on how. And once again, it depends.
It
as
always
long as
depends.
it's not. Okay, if the lake doesn't come up 100 feet and it's muddy as balls, then I probably would say I'll probably throw a flick shake, a weedless flick shake, or a swing head, drag a swing head around. Depending on if I found them in brush piles or on the staging stuff.
Nice. I mean,
and I hope to God I don't have to do that.
Well, the one thing I've learned in the opens, make sure you have like down to plan Z figured out because
yep,
it is a busy body of water usually, and it's like I'm approaching it different this year. Any place there's a point or a brush pile, I'm going to go to the opposite side of the lake and go down a bank that doesn't have anything on it. At least I know they won't be caught 12 times in practice, and if there's a bass there, I'll probably catch it. I mean, that's my secret.
That sounds to be.
I mean, I told you that because Brucey wasn't in studio, so I was giving you little hints.
Yeah, you started talking about lures and rooms, and I left.
Yeah,
Brad, what happens if 217 of those people think the same thing? Then are the points on fire with the brush piles?
Yeah, I doubt that'll happen, but maybe. I mean, it could. I mean, let's see, the last one. What was Brucey? What was the last tournament we were at last year? It was Hartwell.
This is great.
It is a great fishery, lots of fish, and there's like tons of cane piles. And you're going around in practice, and you got like 30 of these secret cane piles that no one's ever gonna find. And the day of the tournament rolls up, and it's like a merry-go-round. It's like it's like you got to take a number to get on one of them. So it's really different. I mean, that's what I've found out.
Well, I'm glad we're going to some big places then. It's going to still be that way, but I'm really glad that we're going to good-sized bodies of water that are hopefully, in theory, going to be fishing decent at the time.
Yeah. It will be.
Yeah, I'll be happy to have the big deep V on them beauties. I love it when it blows on them big ponds. You can just go stand out in the middle in the walleye barge and watch you get your toes wet.
Brucey, is there like one of those tournaments with the Damiki rig this year? I'm praying not.
No, there's not.
Oh, thank God.
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be so awesome if it was.
Oh yeah, that'd be sweet. Just go walleye fish up a derb. There's not a chance. I gotta learn how to use this crankbait thing over here. Never weighed a tournament bass on a crankbait. Was thinking the other day. I'm messed up.
Have you tried that thing where they put like it's like a silver, like a blade, and they put it on a jig and they reel it in grass and stuff, like it's a chatter something cricket, chatter cricket.
Chatterbait?
The one with the chatterbait?
Chatterbait, that's what it is. I never tried that before.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
Oh, Brucey loves chatterbaits.
Yeah. I got
There we
those.
go.
Yeah. Should be good. We'll figure it out. What
I like it.
who used to, but I've heard you on a bunch of podcasts the last little bit. I should know all this. I bass nerd out pretty good. But I didn't catch who you were staying with or what your plan is there.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've got probably the biggest competitive advantage staying with me, to be honest, throughout the hopefully most of the year, if not the entire year, and that's my wife and my 2-year-old. He's just going to be out of his mind. He's obsessed with fishing. But that's it. That's I don't have any. Coleslaw, the camera guy, of course, will be there. But besides that, man, I know probably a dozen or so guys that are fishing the opens, and I'll probably stay with them on or off. The first tournament at Eufaula, I got a house to stay at, and my buddy Brock Bielek down up in Nebraska is going to stay with us too. And then I'm sure, my buddy Jack York, who I think will qualify in the top 9, he's got to be, if not the best or one of the best guys in the field, will be there. And I will probably stay with him at some point throughout the schedule, but he had a place in Eufaula, and I'm not just straight traveling with anybody. But I got some friends that are doing it, and Brock's an incredible fisherman too. So we'll kind of just see how it plays out.
Sweet, bud. We'll get an extra steak for you at each one. Anytime you feel like wheeling by the house. She's usually pretty relaxed. And Jack York,
you guys traveling together?
Big shout out.
Yeah, me and Brucey and a buddy from Wisconsin, I think. You should probably come by. We can make up some good stories,
Deal. I like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep Jack York's name in mind. He's probably the best fisherman out of the entire field of anglers. I'll say that right now with 100% confidence. I think he is. You got the elite guys coming back to the fish and everything, but Jack is the deal. You can call Lee Livesey and ask him that. Like, Jack is a phenomenal angler, and if he doesn't qualify this year, he will eventually, and he'll be a name on the Elite Series. But he's a local guy there down in Texas, and I fished with him, and hopefully we can have success along with him.
Heck yeah. You hear that, Jack? Keep the phone on. You're probably up next. That's a heavy shout out.
That is. No pressure on Jack at all.
Yeah. Well, no offense, guys. But
Jack's a great dude, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
Gonna have to talk.
Cool. He spent some time up in your neck of the woods. Jack's a 6'7", 300+ pound lineman that had a football scholarship at the University of Minnesota and played for a year or so and got hurt a few times and decided college football wasn't going to work. Now he guides down at Lake Fork and has fished a ton of the college stuff through Stephen F. Austin all over the country and done extremely well. But Jack's one of those young dudes that is a freaking killer.
Would he wrestle Jamie Bruce?
Don't sign me up for that, Brad.
Yeah, come on, Brucey. We can get some good footage. I don't
Yeah.
think Matt's wrestling this year, so Brucey, you got to take over the
Well, I don't
crown.
think Matt's ever won, so I would just continue the losing streak. Buddy had pulled me up like a cheap suitcase. I just heard his stats. Plus, he plays real sports, not sitting on a butt seat looking at a live scope, having store lunch.
I think you could take him, Brucey. We should find out.
All right, you find out. I'll
Let's
find
do
someone
it.
to fight. We'll be all good.
The loser gets Matt Robertson.
Yeah. Matt's
Con-
been working out a
consolation match.
lot, though. I mean, Matt's been working out, I think.
Yeah, he's got a title fight coming up. He's going to do well.
Yeah, he might do all right.
Yeah.
I mean, after some of Pat's stories, I feel like the 250 guys in the tournament, like we should do just random drawing, one-on-one matchups, and go head-to-head wrestling on a dock. And if you get, it's before the tournament. This is the pre-tournament meeting. We don't talk about rules or anything. We just the pre-tournament meeting. If you get thrown off the dock, you're out. That's it. And we only have 125 guys that get to fish the tournament.
I wish that would have been the case last year. I don't know, but this year, I don't know who's there. You know, I hope I get a real little guy, like maybe I don't know who, but I don't know. Not
Matt lost
not you two. Yeah.
Well, if we don't pick up any points that you follow, it's probably just going to add to the fun of the life on the road this year. So we'll have to keep that big Doc Rochambeau in mind.
Deal. I mean, can you think of the televised part? They're on FS1. They're like 250 anglers started, but before bass fishing competition begins, we have to have the dock wrestling challenge. I mean, we would grow the sport so much.
Yeah, I mean, we get a lot of wrestling fans probably. It'd be great.
Oh boy, we're way off here.
Well, glad you guys are on the same page. Let's move on. All right, great.
Well, I'm gonna leave. You guys can keep talking if you want. That was a lot of fun having you on, man. I'm glad you recovered. Solid effort on being persistent, getting back on. That's Brad checked a box there. I'm not lying, man. He was like big dogging you before he came on. He had a lot of questions.
I did. I had good questions, lots of them, and you nailed it. A+. You're a true derber, and I can't wait to see how this year goes. It's going to be a fun year, and it's looking forward to it.
Man, it's going to be. It's going to be super cool. I appreciate you guys supporting everyone that's supporting. I'm definitely going to take my style of the big baits and the forward-facing sonar and really try to apply that. Like I said, I have a background in a lot of other techniques, but I'm really going to try to throw different baits than people, and we'll see how the cards play out, but I'm definitely not going to try to play it safe. I don't think it's possible to win or qualify by playing it safe. And it's a different story when we pull up to that boat ramp and you follow for all three of us when we pay that entry fee and we spend all that money on travel and everything. And we got to decide that we're going to take a chance to go run somewhere. That's not an easy thing, but that's what's going to make this one of the most entertaining seasons of all time. And so I can't wait to do it. Can't wait to do it alongside you guys, and I really appreciate you guys saying you got that stake for me, and hopefully we can keep kind of touching base and hopping in with the three of us throughout this season, because I think we're all kind of a family, as cutthroat as it's going to be. You guys are the real ones. You guys are busting your ass to make a living in this industry, obviously, and working really, really hard, and hopefully we can all circle around and kind of talk about our experiences, because that's the coolest part of this, what we're doing here.
Absolutely. Big thanks for coming on tonight. I mean, you're awesome YouTube guy, awesome tournament guy. And I really look forward to checking in like midway through the season or sooner. I think that would be a great little episode show. And I wish you the best of luck this year, go crack their ass.
Yeah. While you're eating your steak over at our rental, I'm going to be digging through your boat, checking out your electronic setup too. You got a couple little sneaky deals there. I was talking to talking to a guy about your battery setup, and you're doing a few things that other people aren't. I got to get the inside scoop on that.
Don't bring your boat over. I'll give you a secret. He'll be digging in there. You'll be missing glide baits, fucking swim baits. There'll be musky lures when he goes home.
Deal. I guess I'll get some jakes tied on for the first you follow tournament there.
Yeah.
Triple joint.
All right, bud. We'll leave you to it. Have fun finishing up your ice fishing. I'm sure we'll talk before the puck drops on the first one here. And thanks again for hopping on, man. That was a blast.
Yep,
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot.
If we don't talk any sooner, freaking kill it, guys. It's going to be a fun ride for us all.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy. And thanks again.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Right, bud. What do we do now, Ginge? We're still live. And thanks everyone for painting through the the opening remarks. We had some technical difficulties on takeoff, obviously, but we'll iron it out one of these days. And thanks everyone for tuning in. If you want to keep on talking fishing, don't forget to hop on over to My Gear and check out Get the Net podcast. We're not only going to delve into Bassmaster stuff. We do a little bit of muskie. We actually have a girl she was on The Bachelor. Now she's a muskie guide, or was before. She's on next week anyway. Just plug for that deal there. Thanks, Pat, for letting us run with your baby for the night. And yeah, I'll leave it with you, Brad.
Thanks a lot, Bass Galaxy, for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed tonight. And we'll get our stuff together a little better next time, hopefully at the beginning of it. A huge shout out to Pat Renwick, the Ninja, for getting us set up. Like, we couldn't do it without them. And thanks for the opportunity, you guys. And have a great night. See you next time.
See you, Brad. Hey, next time you come back, I want to see a Raven mount in behind you too. And Seth.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You can't shoot ravens, Brucey.
Oh, crow. Sorry, crow.
Crow. Okay. Have a good night, bud.
See you guys. Have a good night.